What's up, Dog fans? We won in motherfucking O, unfazed and undefeated after facing a methodical offensive onslaught from the LA Chargers. And I could tell that LA OC Kellen Moore focused a lot on being expeditious on the field, changing up the tempo. And, their offense, was designed to pretty much throw us off guard. And they were successful doing it. I'm not going to lie. Coach Vic, he's going to need to find answers for those tempo changes and the hurry up offense, the 2-minute drill. He's going to have to find answers to the run game because we were not able to stop the run. We had two running backs from the Chargers go on, pretty much 200 yards on us, over 200 yards totally on the run game. And, even though we were stout and resistant at the end of the game, we're going to have to get that fixed. And you'll see what I mean after I break down the game here in a few. But before I do, I just want to emphasize two things that I feel confident in saying. Number one, Mike McDaniel is an offensive genius. He's a fucking elite play caller in this league. And the Chargers, they didn't know what was happening to him. I mean, last year he had our receivers motioning from the outside in, both Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Craig Kraft. Whoever he had in there, when he had them motioning, a lot of it was from the outside in. When I watched this game and when I watched some of the preseason games, he's added a new wrinkle where he's having our wide receivers motion to the outside, of the pattern. And they're doing it in motion where Tua's able to catch, Tyreek Hill running in stride while he's motioning out. And he did that this game where he motioned them out and they turned that into a deep dig route inside, and Tua was able to drop that shit right on target, right in between defenders. And, he's going to have to continue doing that. And it looks like he's doing it with ease. He was already doing it last year. He's doing it again this year. And this offense is hard to stop, man. It is hard to stop. Even the play action, like our play action looks different under Mike McDaniel than any other coach that I've seen, because it's like normally they'll just pull from under center, just, act like they handed the ball off, drop back 2 steps, in the same direction. In this play action here, he's got Tua acting, turning his whole body, acting like he's handing off and rolling out of that play action and either throwing it or, catching them by surprise on, draws and things like that. And if we can get Mostert rolling, if we can get Ahmed and even A-Chain rolling with those counters off of that, it's finna be ridiculous, man. And it's already looking sick. And, like I said, the Chargers didn't know what the hell. They didn't know what to cover. They didn't know whether to be in man or in zone. And a lot of people are they saying, how could the Chargers play man against Tyreek Hill and Waddle? It really don't matter. Even if you play zone, all we gonna do is just bait you with them deep digs and them deep curl routes. You gonna have to respect it because we gonna find holes. You gonna find holes in that zone. And Mike McDaniel has it to where, you can't put hands on a receiver because of the motion. And when he's motioning these receivers out, it's forcing, the zone to pretty much the defense to reveal what kind of zone they're in. You can tell if they're in cover 2 or cover 3, because as soon as they motion that receiver, that defender's going to have to chase that receiver to whatever that side is, and that's going to be a telltale sign for Tua Tagovailoa as to where to go with the football. And that's what we see happening. Number 2, this whole debate about if Tua is a franchise quarterback, we need to dead that right now. I mean, that's already been decided. I mean, in my opinion, he's already shown that he has the heart of a champion, and that's what you got to have in this league. And I mean, if he yes, it sounded good from Chris Greer of waiting until next season, tabling this talk right now and talking about it next year about extending him and making him a franchise quarterback, possibly making him the highest paid quarterback, maybe even higher than Herbert. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's see Tua be healthy for a whole year. Let's see him, let's see if he doesn't regress. That sounded good. But what I saw from this damn game with how he was flicking the football down the field, throwing that shit all over California property and California real estate. This man looks like he's ready right now. Let's talk about, next season. That sounds like a bunch of bullshit right now. We need to get this man signed to a long-term deal. Get him signed to a contract. Waddle needs to get paid as well. We need to get this shit solidified for the next 5 years because we're going to the Super Bowl at this clip, at this pace that we're going. And Tua also showed that he don't really give a fuck. He doesn't care if it's 3 defenders there, 4 defenders. He feel like he can fit that shit in there. He been finding it in there anyway. Still trying to get the ball to his intended target. And a lot of the Tua turn the ball over hecklers were out when he threw that interception. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? But y'all gotta admit, man, some of them passes, even though they look like they might be intercepted, they also look like they might have been caught with the way he was drilling that shit. And I just think that, I've seen enough. And this is starting to become, pretty much routine. Like, it's starting to become routine right now. And I think this man need to get his Skrilla, man. Straight up. You know what I care about most when it comes to quarterbacks? What I care about most, I care about the numbers, but I think sometimes we need to throw the numbers out. And what I care about most is, does he have the heart of a champion? Can he come back from setbacks? There's not a lot of, there's a lot of dart throwers out there, but there's not a lot of quarterbacks that can come back from setbacks. There's some quarterbacks with rifle arms. There's some dual threat quarterbacks out there, dynamic dual threat quarterbacks. Even some Iron Men, even quarterbacks that never get hurt, But at the end of the day, if you don't have a quarterback that have the guts, that have the balls to say, fuck the other side, I'm finna take this game over, what do you really have at quarterback? What do you really have? Tua plays like that. Like he stays in the play, he keeps his head in the game, and he just attacks. It's to the point now where I don't even care if he throws an interception because I believe he's gonna bounce back from that. And this game has 7 lead changes. It was an intense scrap the whole game because we had to deal with the crowd noise, like I said, the tempo, and also the adjustments and timely situations. But, we still beat them 36-34. In my opinion, if we would have lost this game, the blame would have been squarely on Vic Fangio. And I would say that the blame would have also been on it would have also been on the refs as well, because there was a couple of calls that I did not like. And it would have been on goddamn Jason Sanders for missing that extra point, which would have made it, if they would have kicked the field goal, it would have tied the game. Instead, he put us in a bad situation because all they needed was a field goal to win the game. Thank goodness our defense came through and, we was able to hold it down. A lot of fans think his defense is trash already. Vic Fangio. He's, like I said, he's going to have to come up with another game plan. Kellen Moore put a big emphasis on being balanced against us as well. Like I said, with the no huddle, hurry up approach. Running backs Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly were both problems for us. They were both gashing our interior all game long. And I'm concerned about that because we saw this in the preseason. The Jaguars ran all over us with ETN and Tank Bigsby. The Falcons ran rampant on us. And y'all say, oh, it's just preseason, that don't count. That shit matters. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And this is looking like a trend. It's looking like a weakness. And I told y'all, I watched the Bears tape when Fangio was over there. And I noticed that Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon of the Packers was running all over his defense. The Raiders and the Chargers, they used to be toting that pill on the Broncos when he was their head coach over there. So they used the formula in that game. And, it was able to pound the rock on our defense. But here's the game breakdown. First quarter, offense received the football at the 25 from a touchback. Connor Williams had 2 bad center exchanges with Tua on this drive. One on the first play, Tua jumped on the ball and we got saved by an offsides penalty, so that helped us. The second came at the worst time of an otherwise perfect drive. We completed chunk yard plays to Waddle and Hill. and we got inside the 5-yard line. We were definitely going to score, in my opinion, as far as I could tell, and we just fucked it up. Connor, not only do we got bad high shotgun snap problems, but it's looking like he got bad under center snap problems as well. But otherwise, as far as blocking, Connor Williams played pretty good this game. Defense got the ball. Defense is on the field. We played zone with hella cushion for their receivers to make moves, which I didn't like. And Herbert was able to find Keenan Allen for a bomb over Deshaun Elliott. Then he drove them down the field to the goal line where Austin Eckler ran it in for a touchdown. That made it 0-7. Offense tries to respond. Tua and Mostert drove us down the field and responded. We ended up scoring a running touchdown of our own to make it 7-7. Shout out to Mostert on that. Then the defense forced a 3-and-out. We rushed 4 instead of blitzing on this drive, and Jerome Baker, I thought he played well in coverage on that next drive. Offense is on the field. We drove down the field to the red zone. Tua almost threw a touchdown twice, but both throws were incomplete. The first attempt was to the cheetah on an out route to the pylon, but he didn't get both feet in bounds. The second attempt was to tight end Durham Smythe, but safety Derwin James had excellent sticky coverage, and he batted the ball down. I think Durham should have extended his arms out and put his hands out to help Tua on that route. I mean, you got to help out your quarterback. And, Jason Sanders ended up kicking a field goal. That gave us a 10-7 lead. Second quarter, Austin Eckler broke for a 55-yard run, but got chased down by Javon Holland. Next play was a wide receiver screen to Mike Williams, who almost scored on us, but was short at the 1. Next play, Herbert found 6'8" tight end Durham Parham in the end zone, who did what I wanted Durham Smythe to do, which is he used his strong hands and prevented a deflection to help Justin out and secure a touchdown. Chargers ended up taking the lead. Now we're down 10-14. Offense, we threw a out. We went 3-and-out on this drive. The last in implementation on third down was a bad throw and decision by Tua, trying to split 3 defenders with the football, attempting to hit tight end Durham Smythe in the hands. And this was a reckless throw because it could have been intercepted. We ended up punting the football. Defense back on the field. Christian Wilkins had 2 key tackles for loss on this drive to force a 3-and-out. Chargers punted and almost pinned us at the 1-yard line, but it was a touchback. Offense, Smythe balled on this next drive. He had a 17-yard yak catch. Next play showed great communication with Tua on the pattern, and Tua had to scramble left. Durham Smythe stopped his crossing route and made himself available for a deep catch. I thought that was a good play. Then he bailed us out on a 4th and 7 with a key catch to keep us rolling. Tua fired a laser to Reek on the deep dig route. And I noticed so far this game, Mike chose the deep digs instead of the deep curls to beat Brandon Staley's zone coverages. Tua was surgically puncturing the middle of their defense, got in the red zone, and then found River Craycraft in the back of the end zone for 6. That gave us a 17-14 lead, all thanks to Durham freaking Smythe. Defense played with too much cushion again in the secondary. That allowed Herbert to complete comeback routes on us. Teams are going to copy that. They got to the 40, and then Cameron Dicker kicked a field goal to tie it 17-17 with just 9 seconds left on the clock. What does Coach Mike do to keep his foot on the gas? He stayed aggressive, and, that mentality played off because Tua completed a deep pass to Waddle towards the right sideline. Then Tua threw a deep pass to Nzukama, who got interfered with. That placed us in field goal range, and my dog Jason Sanders gave us a 20-17 lead to end the half. Third quarter, Chargers came out in the third with a game plan more focused on grounding and pounding, and that's what they did. The refs called 2 bullshit calls on cornerback Xavier Howard. Like I said, 2 pass interference calls that put them at the goal line. The first one was BS to me because Keenan Allen not only ran into Xavier Howard on that play, it was like a corner route, I believe, but he kind of pushed off as well. He extended his arm, and you seen, Xavier Howard, like, come on, man, this man, he pushing off. The other PI was in the back of the end zone. That was kind of ticky-tack to me. X had a right to the football too, and if the wideout is hand fighting, I think it should be allowed on both ends. But Chargers ended up scoring on a quarterback sneak to make it 24-20. Offense came out and responded. We came out and handed the ball off to Mostert, and we tried to respond, my bad. Tua made some nice throws, but he ended up throwing an interception into the end zone on the bomb attempt to Braxton Berrios. It was kind of a jump ball throw, but y'all got to remember, man, Braxton he's not a 6'4" receiver. He's a shorter receiver, and I think that was a bad decision to try to throw that kind of pass to a receiver like that at that point, in the end zone. But deep interceptions, I don't mind as much because that's kind of like a punt. It's them interceptions that you throwing where you're at your own 10 or 20 yard line, and if they intercept it, they're right there in scoring range, or you throw a pick six when we were about to score. Those are the interceptions that just drive me insane. That's what the fans don't want to see. Them long, deep interceptions, that's like a punt. And sometimes deep interceptions will put them in worse field positions than a punt would. So, on defense, Kader Kohu made 2 key plays on this drive. On the next drive, first one was a TFL on the attempted wide receiver screen. Then Vic Fangio sent Kader on a corner blitz. Herbert didn't have time to do shit and got tackled on the 1. They ended up punting short. What does Tua do? Threw a freaking bomb to Tyreek for touchdown, right on the money in stride, and that gave us a 27-24 lead. Fourth quarter, again, we allowed too much cushion in coverage. It didn't clog up the middle, and they ran it down our throats to the goal line and scored on the run and make it 27-31. Offense response. Tua bobbled a shotgun snap but recovered it. That one was on him. That was his fault. Then Ingo made a nice 19-yard catch. Berrios followed that up with a great catch to the ground, and Tua threaded the needle a few times, but he couldn't convert on third down. Jason Sanders kicks a field goal and made it a 1-point game. That's how we responded. It ended up being 30-31 with 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in the fourth. Defense, again, looking like they playing a soft zone, allowed them to get in the red zone again, but this time Jalen Phillips got pressure and almost got himself a strip sack, but Justin got rid of the football and the Chargers kicked the field goal. Now the score is 30-34. We got all 3 timeouts with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left. Plenty of time to go down there and score, and the pressure's on. What the fuck does Uno do? He steps up in the pocket and throws another bomb to Tyreek. Then Tua throws a rope to the cheetah in the end zone. Lead 36-34 right over J.C. Jackson. But because Jason Sanders is not clutch, which I've been saying, he missed the extra point that would have made it a 3-point game. Instead, LA has 2 timeouts with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. All they need is a field goal, but our defense came through. They came through. Vic Fangio, you redeemed yourself in the end. Brought pressure, forcing intentional grounding penalty, which was huge. Then Zach Seiler and Christian Wilkins got a sack that made it 3rd and 30. They completed a pass to cut the yardage in half, but it wasn't enough. 4th down, we got another sack, but this time it was from Phillips, and that's how we won the game, 36-34. Now let's take a look at Numbers Lie, Numbers Don't, a segment that I added to the show where I take a look at the game stats and I analyze the numbers. This time we're going to analyze the stats. Tua completed 28 passes from 45 attempts for 466 yards. 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Never got sacked because not only did our O-line hold down the fort in pass protection, but Tua also showed elite footwork and good pocket presence and awareness to help out his O-line. And it showed in the QBR, which was 87.8. And he finished with a 110 passer rating, which shows elite accuracy. Credit Mystic Mac also for showcasing great tempo in his play calling, and he did a great job of using all our skilled players and making them dangerous. Not just Waddle and Hill, you also saw fullback Alec Ingold sipping yak. Craycraft took shots at yak, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Just like Beanie Siegel told Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club when he was saying murder was at the height of his rap career. it's dangerous. This shit too quick. It's too fast and it's too shifty. And these teams, they're not going to be able to stop it this year. It don't look like it. On the ground, we had 3 carriers tote the rock. Raheem Mostert had the most carries with 10 for 37 yards and a touchdown. Eazy-E also had 2 carries for 17 yards. And I told y'all in the keys, for this offense, we should use Eazy-E out of the backfield as a running back when we play against the Chargers, because they couldn't stop that when the 49ers did it when they had Deebo Samuel. And for some reason, in Brandon Staley's defense, the linebackers don't really cover the perimeter that well. And I believe that's probably why McDaniel ran a lot of outside zone on them. And Ahmed carried 3 times for just 11 yards. And I know that, neither one of our runners ran for over 100 or anything like that. But in total, we gained 70 yards. And the running game pretty much did what it needed to do. Through the air, Tua spread the love to 7 targets, all had double figures, not just in yards, but also in yards per catch. Tua wasn't dinking and dunking. He was chinking and chunking pretty much all game, getting chunk yardage every chance he got. And I think Tyreek Hill will get 2,000 plus yards receiving by week 10 at this pace. He led the unit with 215 yards, and he dominated, caught bombs in stride, averaging 19.5 yards per catch, which is out of hand. And Tua targeted him the most, and he was just deliberately trying to feed him the football. Waddle had 4 catches for 78 yards. Durham Smythe, who has the game of his life, had 3 catches for 44 yards. Berrios had 3 for 42. Ingo had 2 catches for 34, which is large. And just the overall output was just stellar, man. Every lineman not named Connor Williams played like ballers. Our defense allowed Justin to complete 23 of 33 passes for 228 yards, but he only averaged 6.9 average yards per throw. So he was dinking and dunking. He threw for 1 touchdown, and we sacked him 3 times for 29 yards. But he didn't need to do much because they knew script entailed grounding and pounding for 234 yards total, 3 touchdowns, including a 55-yarder from Eckler. And, he had 117 yards himself. Joshua Kelly gained 91 yards. Both carried 16 times evenly, and they just embarrassed us, man. Now, their receiving core, none of them had 100 yards. Keenan led with just 76 yards. None of them had touchdowns. I think Durham Parham was the only receiving target that had a touchdown. As bad as our defense played as far as committing bad penalties and giving up yardage, they tightened up when it mattered. When the chips were down, they did their job. Javon Holland led our defense with 14 total tackles, 10 solo, and 1 tackle for loss. My big fish ballers of the week for week 1. Tua Tagovailoa is on that list. Raheem Mostert's on the list. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Eric Nzukama, River Craycraft, Braxton Berrios, Durham Smythe, Kendall Lamb. He balled. Robert Hunt balled. I saw him blocking like 2 and 3 players all in one play. Christian Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, and Kader motherfucking Kohu is on this list. Next game, we play in Foxborough against the Patriots. It's a night game, 8:20 game, Sunday night football. And I think, when the clock shows 4 zeros, we're going to be 2-0. The Patriots got their ass stumped by the Eagles on their turf, 20-25. I'll be watching their tape to see how they lost. Maybe we can use some of the same attacks that Philly used. We'll see, but this was a good start to the season. And shout out to all the Dolphin fans out there that was repping in LA. You seen, we had more fans than them in their own stadium. So that's what I'm talking about. I know we're going to take over Gillette Stadium as well. And you can call this another Tua clutch moment. But y'all let me know how y'all feel. Y'all stay tapped into the network. Till next time, signing off.